Buongiorno, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Welcome to the dark dimension of Despondos, ready to lay you down some philosophy of the day, some insight. Oh, you know, it really irks me when people have such a superficial view of the world, of reality. Um, because they subscribe to their faith, their religion, and what they believe. But what has happened, what I've observed with a lot of different people, is that oftentimes they get so involved in their religion and what they believe and what they think about what their religion says, that it's some that because by nature of what having or being able to believe in a religion does, or any kind of thing that requires faith, you cannot behold that faith and be a critical thinker. Because if you're a critical thinker, then that faith get tossed under will get tossed under the rug, thrown out. It has the potential to do that, just because of what faith is. Faith is um, thinking something is true because there's circumstantial evidence, but not all the information is there. That's why you have to have faith, because otherwise, if it was there in front of you, then then your faith is obsolete. You've gotten to the stage that your faith has gotten you to. But when you start to use your critical thinking, you start to realize that the basis for what you had your faith in, you find evidence that, hey, this may not be true at all. Because the hardcore evidence of what's there, and now you still have faith in that evidence, but now what you believed in having faith in changes. And having faith is fine. Having faith is essential. You know, Henry Ford had the faith that the car, would be something that would be quite useful and actually would take off. He had a vision. And the reason why he had that faith is because even though it hadn't come to fruition yet, he set in motion things that he could see work. But if it didn't work out, he wasn't out anything. But the problem with religion is that people use faith as a substitute for proof and heart and knowing something is there. But see, what I've seen happen is that because people just rely on faith, and they've done it so much with their religion, and then they start to cross. Then their mind, for what I've been saying, is it turns to mush, because they no longer exercise the brain, because they just believe. They don't think. And one of the things that really pisses me off, and it doesn't even necessarily always have to do with religion in of itself, but the idea of music as being something that's so real that if a person is singing about something, that somehow that's definitely real because it's coming from their heart and they're singing about it. But what they fail to understand is that, one, they're not acting out what they're singing about. If they do, then they need to be locked up, especially if the music correlates violence. But that's why we sing about it instead of actually doing it. Art is a catharsis, a release, a substitute, a scapegoat, instead of acting out our actual feelings. It's a very it's a very highly evolved state of mind to use art instead of violence and aggression instead. But and yes, you can have music inspire people to do bad things. You can have music, but a lot of that stuff is very, 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 very slim. The occurrences of that are very, very, very slim. I mean, if they're going by what they hear in the news, and this is where the faith thing happens, that's bad. They just take the news's word for it. Because, oh, it lines up with my faith. It's like, this is what the preacher said. Why should I even question it? It's true. So then they start to believe, they start to have faith in something that's not even real because they listen to somebody else tell them something instead of finding out for themselves. And some of the people I've talked to, they don't have any desire to find out further. They even proactively say it's bad because I'm not going to take the time to find that out. Well, right there, you just hung yourself. Right there, you just revealed to me how stupid you are. And how you are nurturing ignorance by only wanting to take things at face value. And that just pisses me off. Because then all you're going to do, so then our world is ruled on assumptions. That's not a world I want to live in. And see, some of these same people, I see them make these same kind of decisions in their lives, and the way that they do things. They go and they don't think things matter. They don't think they base their basic actions as a person into their life on that type of thinking, and that's very, very bad. I mean, it's ridiculous. And in music, it's music. It's just like theater. And see, these are the same people. Now, see, back when I was growing up, now at least the church that we went to and the things that my parents believed, at least they were consistent for the most part. At least they stood by everything objectively the way that they believed. So if they thought the music was bad, then they would also say, well, then this television show is bad and you shouldn't watch it. This movie is bad, you shouldn't watch it. This book is bad, you shouldn't read it. At least at least their belief system was consistent with what their actions were. I'm meeting people that see the objectiveness in the fact that a movie is fake, but then they can't see the objectiveness in seeing that music is also fake. Yes, it is coming from their heart. It is coming from their release. It is real in that way, but it completely stops there. So if you believe that it's real to the point just because of that, it would only be real as if they actually acted out what they sang, or inspire, or some kid was dumb enough to actually act it out, and it has happened. But don't be fucking putting musicians on trial because of their art because some kid was stupid. And my brother is the same way. And it really pisses me off when I hear people, oh, I feel so sorry for them because they listen to that music. It's like, shut the fuck up. And the worst thing about it is that they see that because all that's in their head is what they've seen on the news, and they don't look any further. I mean, if anything, I don't want to destroy anybody's faith, but making ridiculous notions like that about anything, I mean, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it has you can take out the spiritual connotation. You can take out all that stuff. Even an atheist, um, even an atheist would have the potential to think something like that because you are thinking in real world terms. You're thinking about, but if you don't pay attention to the facts, except the propaganda, then your reality is going to be skewed no matter what. Um, but ultimately, I see a lot of those ways of thinking is rooted in the system of religion and the system of and religion by nature is that has, like, say, a congregation and a religious hierarchy. People just believe what their preacher tells them or what the authorities of those schools of thought tell them rather than searching it out for their own. And then, of course, they always criticize that, oh, it's that you're encouraging secular humanism, and that's not the wisdom of God. That's the wisdom of man. I mean, it's really fucking scary because I see a lot of objective people. They're worse off than even my parents are in that way. I mean, when you mix, and that's what's dangerous because they do have objective ways, and they do have things that they take for granted, that they know this, and they think that what the other thing that they know that's ridiculous, they think it's all the same, and they refuse to listen. It's like, it's ridiculous. If they're going to be, lazy about it, then I think that, if they were the kind of person, they are the kind of people that back in the 1500s or 1600s, whatever it was, when Galileo first discovered that the Earth was not the center of the universe, these people would be the people that would still believe that the Earth is the center of the universe. They would still adhere to that belief. Those are the type of people they are, because the church says so. And they... if there was ever proof of a devil, the devil does not... he does not rule by whispering into other people's ears. He rules by using what is good, what is perceived as good, as a means to spread his agenda. And I'm tired of this bullshit, So, but that's my thought for the day. See you later.